Hi everybody, Eric McCool here at Permagora, and I'm here in Washington, D.C. at the Glowhouse with Darrell Duane. Darrell,
Hey.
Thanks for hosting me here. It's been really enjoyable getting to know you. And, we had a great conversation when I first got here. I did a little presentation about my work, and I was talking with Darrell about what he does, and I wanted to talk on camera with you, Darrell, about some of the stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
Primarily, Burning Man
Sure.
and Bitcoin. These are all
Yes.
things that I think are relevant to what I'm doing. So,
That's right.
First of all, tell us about your involvement with Burning Man. You've been going out there for a while now?
Yeah, since 2004. So it's been it'll be 14 years this August. I'll be
Wow.
out there. Yeah.
And do you set up any kind of like a camp? Or?
That's right. Yeah. So I've been organizing this Camp Contact out there. It's within a village. The greater village is Anahasana Village, and we're all about kind of embodiment and awareness and specifically contact improvisation dance. And then
contact.
Yeah,
Nice.
I really enjoy this form of dance. It's kind of the subconscious of dance in a way. It's its own it's a postmodern dance that allows for a lot of stuff to come up. And as you're moving and dancing, any dances can be cathartic, but this dance in particular really gets to the core.
Nice, very nice. So you have like a sound system. You set up your own setup for all that.
Well, so contact on its own is actually a silent dance.
Really?
It's done without music typically in the purest form.
Interesting.
But we don't just do contact, and yes, we do have some nice sound systems for ambient, down-tempo kinds of music.
Yeah.
This year we're looking to get hand pans into center camp with us.
Hand pans?
Hand pans. It's kind of a new instrument to me. They're kind of steel, like a steel drum.
Oh, things with like the little indentations.
Yeah, but they're not. But it's a little bit different than a steel drum. Like steel drum, they have mallets. This is kind of a hand version of that. Probably not doing it justice to the musicians out there, but that's how I understand it. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now you're going out to Burning Man.
Yeah.
What sort of like I'm trying to get for people who don't know what Burning Man is. I mean, most people do, I think, but it's like a culture. There's like a community.
It's turned into a culture, and there's regional burns that happen throughout the world now, and there's 10 principles that we organize around that came up with that Larry Harvey came up with back in 2004.
All right.
Yeah.
And those are. Can I find those online?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll link them into this so that people can look at those. And so it does have sort of a cohesive philosophy behind it all.
Yeah.
Would you say that has anything that there's any connection to sort of the liberty and the sort of breaking free from the system kind of philosophy?
Oh, great question. There's definitely some intersections. It's not anarchy directly,
Right.
and it's definitely not. A lot of people think, oh, Mad Max and that sort of stuff, but it's not really that anymore. And there is definitely a real sense of radical self-reliance. That's one of the principles. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for anything, or have backup plans and that sort of stuff.
Right.
While at the same time having this kind of idea of radical inclusion.
Yeah.
And this idea of immediacy and being in the moment, letting things happen as they want to happen, let the unfolding happening, and also leave no trace, that you're taking care of the environment.
Yeah.
So that really has the permaculture aspect to it.
For sure.
In part of that.
So I'm curious, like this huge burn that happens every year.
Yeah.
Do they have like police, or how do you keep the order?
Sure.
Are there issues?
So this is federal land we're on. So there are Bureau of Land Management Rangers that are there, as well as other sheriffs, local authorities. But independent of that, or kind of along, but that still has some connection with, are Black Rock City Rangers.
Okay.
These are burners. These are volunteers.
So internal.
These are people that go out to enjoy the festivities and the gatherings and the community. They're a core part of the community, and they're really the first line and that kind of connection that allows for most incidents to be resolved without need for standard kind of federal or local law enforcement.
Cool. That's really valuable to be able to go around that and sort of supply that need ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very cool. So let's talk about Bitcoin then.
Yeah.
You are pretty into Bitcoin from what you've told me.
That's right.
You said you also are kind of looking into some other alt currencies
That's right.
too?
I mean, Etherium is kind of the next big one that allows for a lot more programmable money, smart contracts, and allows for entities to be set up and managed on the blockchain, so that some sorts of actual more than just money, more than just a direct financial thing, but some kind of relationships and agreements can be built.
Yeah, I think that's really fascinating, the idea of using the blockchain as more than just a currency, but using it as a means to manage what, businesses manage contracts, manage
Sure. Anything that government currently does for us, in theory, can be put on the blockchain. So the idea of titles, marriage certificates, any kind of place where there's been arbitration or we turn to some central authority in the government to do something for us, can be set out eventually through with time, programmable. The only thing that is not there is coercion. There's no.
Yeah.
They say.
Well, that's what we're trying to get rid of.
We are. And what do they say? There's something about the U.S. dollar is backed by the tax authority, i.e., the threat of incarceration or arrest and or violence.
I see. So the blockchain. Let's say you do break your contract on the blockchain, and everyone knows you did.
Yes.
The blockchain can't make you pay.
Well, it can't make you pay financially. You can write rules that allow for a certain sum of coin, whatever the coin is, to go wherever it goes or not. But there's no physical coercion as a part of it.
Well, I think that's a step.
Yeah. But yes, it is.
So how does the blockchain? Would this have to be a separate thing from what already exists? Someone have to create a whole new program for this to run? For instance, let's say I've got a new community that we just created from scratch. We're going to use the blockchain.
Good.
Do we have to write new programming?
Well, most of this is open source. So, and there's a group called BitNation out there that's working hard to create templates or create forms of government for governing aspects. And that's not the only one. There's definitely a lot of other groups that are working to have these happen. And if you want to have some sort of sharing agreement, you need to pay some rent, you need to pay some utilities, whatever it is. That can all be managed and arbitrated at some point on the blockchain. That's the dream.
And would there have to be staff to maintain that, or who controls the blockchain? Does anybody?
The beauty. Well, that's the community does. The blockchain is peer-to-peer, decentralized management, and so one of the magic things that Satoshi Nakamoto came up with when he created Bitcoin was this mining process, which allows anybody, whether they're the most nefarious person, or the most benevolent person, to set up their computers to do this mining and support the interactions of the blockchain without any other influence per se. And there's still some little edge cases out there that we're discovering now, but for the most part, the dream is that this is an impartial entity that people come into or leave as they like, serving it, and in crypto we trust, and the cryptographic strength of the algorithms that are within blockchain technologies allow for these things to happen.
Yeah, because there's no messing with it, right?
There is no.
It's
not until
open source.
Pretty much. There's and that's what I'm saying. It's open source,
transparent.
And it's transparent.
Yeah.
And so anybody can look and try and figure out how to hack it. And if there is a way that's found eventually to hack it, there's questions about quantum computing, quantum computers, and what they'll be able to do to the crypto algorithms that are there. And yes, at some point we can imagine that those will be hackable by quantum computers. But even then, there's new quantum-resistant crypto algorithms.
Yeah,
that
the defenses will build with.
They will
potential.
evolve, and that's the beauty of this ecosystem.
Yeah. So, blockchain and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
A lot of it is associated with people who don't know much about it, and perhaps people in the culture also identify with black markets, unregulated, uncontrolled, and a lot of people have a negative connotation. Oh, that's so illegal, bad stuff.
Right.
But a lot of black markets are simply voluntary exchanges that the government arbitrarily decrees to be illegal.
Sure.
Do you think that the use of cryptocurrency and with the capabilities of being connected globally by the internet, that we could basically create a truly alternative market, a true counter-economic system where...
Oh, it's already there.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. And first to your point, no matter where you fall on the idea of black markets, gray markets, whatever markets, just know that even when the internet came out back in the 80s and early 90s, the same thing was said. Oh, this is just going to be for porno. Oh,
they were mostly...
Well, at some level it was.
A lot of it was used for that.
Yes. But there was a lot of concern about other nefarious things happening and all this, and yes, any tool can be a weapon. Any tool can be a tool for creation, and in the end, it comes down to how we as a community relate with one another and take care of each other, and look to figure out what those things are, and look for understanding, look for appreciation,
yeah,
and open our minds as to any of the possibilities of what good can come out of the stuff that we try and regulate.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of examples of regulation of things that we're finding out are not. That's not really the most thing to do. The best thing to do. So
interesting.
So but yes, to follow up, to take that where you were going with it. There's a lot of new opportunities. There's something called Open Bazaar that allows for all kinds of exchanges to happen. It's kind of like an eBay on the blockchain at some level that is open and it has less fees, but also allows for kind of an uncensored transaction.
A truly free market.
Yeah, none of this is all going to be to a full amount. There's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be some, but it's way further along than say an eBay is at this moment. And eBay's got a lot of great stuff on its own. I mean,
true. I mean, eBay, you can do black market stuff on eBay.
There are some levels, whatever the market level is. There's a lot of unique things out there too. Yeah.
Well, I'm always excited to see potential tools for people who are just ordinary people who want to live free, want to have more control over their own life.
Yes.
I like to think that there are tools available for us to use, and so I encourage people who don't know about blockchain or Bitcoin to learn about it and to start visualizing how can we use this to do good things, because I mean that's what we're all trying to do, is just make the world a little better.
That's right.
All right, well, I think that's about all the time we have, but it's been great talking with you, and yeah.
Look forward to having you back.
Yeah, I hope to be back soon.
All right.
Thanks a bunch.
Yep.